Alright, so welcome back to another episode on the MINILOGUE XD, making sounds. And in this one we are going to do, just like in the previous episode, vintage keys and some pads. And as we move on through the episodes, we're going to do different things like brass and bass and sound effects and things like that, so we can, practice. If you go to the description, you have a download link. You can download the patches for free. So everything on this video is timelined, so you can jump from the first patch to the second patch if you don't like the first one. And remember that if you like all this, to like and subscribe, of course. And if you have the money and you want to buy me a coffee, you can go to the links at the description, and you have links for that there. Right, so let's break it down. This is going to be my main position, I guess, all the way down, up on the sustain, and all the VCOs up, down, and the one is going to be up. And still we can start from a default patch, right? So if I go out and go back in, it's just going to be a default patch. Always you start there. So first you're going to do the oscillators and then move on to the envelopes and the cutoff. Okay, so I'm going to go to the oscillators. Remember, it sounds like a default patch. And first we want to select what type of oscillators. I'm going to be selecting right here saw, and this one is the one all the way up. I'm going to do a little bit of pitch detuning, like 3 cents, 4 cents, something like this, something very mild. And still going to sound pretty much the same, but I'm going to be standing on this octave, right? So it's going to be a little bit lower than the one we have right here. So on the next oscillator, I'm going to still use a saw, but this one will go 1 octave higher. So it's going to sound like this. We need to go up, and I'm going to keep the mixer, the volume of the oscillators, the VCOs, around 70%, around there. And we're going to be getting something like that. Since we are detuning this one, we don't need to detune this too much. If you don't want to, maybe I'm going to do 2 or 3. So the ring module sync is going to be sync all the way down, ring all the way down, the shape all the way down, and and the cross mod all the way down. So what I want to do, I want to bring this oscillator, and this one is going to give us a lot. So for now, I'm just going to go all the way down on the oscillators, and I'm going to go up on this one, on the VPM, on the multi-engine, and I'm going to be selecting the syn or sine number 4. And it's going to sound like that. So whenever we use the multi-engine, the shape depends on which algorithm we are using. It's just going to go crazy when we go up or we go down. Now in this case, I want to keep it around there. Now it's always a good idea to check if you're doing something on the multi-engine. So to do this, you need to go to the edit mode, and the last 2 of the program edit are going to be around, about the multi-engine. So if I go to this and you keep tapping, you're going to see if it's all the way to 0, you're doing nothing. But for example, let me just give you an example. If you're doing feedback around 50 or 70%, it's going to sound way different. So make sure this is on 0, and then if you want, you can play with this control just to get something else out of the, of that sine wave. So the shape, again, is going to be around 50%, but I want to do something else. I'm going to hold the shift, and when you do this, and maybe go to a lower key, maybe there, and you move the shape, this is going to change the ratios. So I'm going to be standing on that one. Right? So it's going to all the way down. It's going to change 1 time, twice, 3, and then 4. I'm going to stay right there. So it's really high in pitch, and this was going to help with the other oscillators. And this is just completely up to you. This is my taste. If it's too much for you, you can use a different thing. In this case, I really like this, timbre. So now I'm going to keep it around 70, and I'm going to bring the other ones and see if we get a good blend and make a decision. I kind of like it. So I'm going to leave it for now. And now we need to move on to the cutoff and the envelopes. And then we will just decide if you want to go down on this one and have less of that one or more of this and less of this. All right, so let's take care of the envelopes. Attack all the way down. You can do just a tiny little bit if you want, just to avoid the clickness. Now, the decay. Actually, I don't need decay. I'm going to go all the way up with the sustain. And I'm going to add a little bit of release. It's going to sound pretty much the same. The trick right here, oh, sorry for that. The trick right here is going to be on the cutoff filters. On the cutoff, we're going to bring it down around 20%, something like that. And I'm going to be adding a little bit of resonance. I'm going to go up on the resonance around, 30. Sounds fine. 30, 40, between 35, let's say. Now, drive. I'm going to bring the drive and do 50% of the key track and see how it sounds. Right? It doesn't sound that good because, this is, you're chopping a lot of frequencies. So we need to bring this, make sure you are standing on the cutoff because we want to modulate this control. Now I'm going to go to around 50% and we will take it from there. As soon as I do this, it's going to start sounding a little bit better. Now, what I want a little bit more decay around there. Depends on what you want to do. Maybe you want to go on the decay on this one and go down on the release. And maybe a little bit more sustain. And everything, is just going to change a little bit. Now, in my case, I'm going to keep the sustain all the way up and just a little bit of release. So that's going to be my synth keys. Oh, and of course, we are standing on poly in terms of, the voice mode. And we are going to be doing a little bit of LFO. I'm going to go to pitch and stand on the 50% intensity. And then a little bit of rate right here, a triangle. And I'm going to stay on normal. And of course, that's too much. So the rate, I feel it's fine. I'm going to go down in the intensity, until it feels like keys, vintage keys. But we are not doing just too much. So it's almost around 5 or 10%. Now it sounds cool. Now the key right here is going to be the effects. So we need a little bit of delay and a little bit of reverb and everything will sound much, much better. So I'm going to stand on here. I'm going to turn off the reverb, turn off the delay, right? So everything's off just to make sure. And I'm going to go first to the delay. I'm going to bring the delay on. And maybe we can use a stereo BPM. If you want, you can use a ping pong. Just missed it. So stereo BPM, that's the one I want. As soon as we do it, we get something. Maybe it's just a little bit too aggressive. I'm going to go to this almost 55% around there. I don't know which division is that. All right, I'm going to stand there. And the depth is going to be around there, but it's just, way too aggressive. So gonna hold shift and go down on the depth, and this is gonna be the blend between dry and wet. Notice that we get a lot less. So yeah, I'm gonna keep it around there. I don't want it, right in between, in the middle. So. Right, so I want that. You can even do a little bit less on the mix. Right, so right here, I'm going to be going to the reverb, and this is just going to blend everything and just, kind of take it into a conclusion. So if I play something, it just sounds a lot better. It's just, reverb. I'm going to stand, I'm going to go to the time, and it's a hall. If you were asking, I'm going to be standing on a hall because it's going to be a little bit longer. Stand on around 55, and then the depth, I'm going to go longer on the depth. And the dry and the wet, we're going to leave it alone because it's going to be like 50%. And then we can decide how much we want to do if it's just too aggressive. It is too aggressive. Yeah, but it's fine. Maybe we can do a little bit less. And let's see how it sounds without the drive. Because the drive is just, a little bit, I like it a little bit more with the drive. I'm going to go down in volume just a little bit because it's just too loud. Right, so that's going to be my final patch. Maybe if you want, just for fun, we can throw a chorus just like we did before. And if you keep going up, you have different types, and you even have the ensemble. So this is just again, it's going to be another layer just to blend the whole sound together. Right, so that's going to be my final patch. If we do some chords, sounds cool. Maybe it's a little bit too loud. I'm gonna go down in volume, and it's just loud for me. I'm using headphones, and it's loud enough and really compressed so I can hear my voice, right? So maybe it's just a little bit too loud for me. If it's not too loud for you, go up on this or go up on the oscillators just a little bit more. Okay, so let's break it down, and we need to do a pad. So, as always, we always start from an init patch, and let's take care of the oscillators first. Right, so oscillator number 1 is going to be all the way up, and that's how it sounds on the a default patch. So I'm gonna keep the range right there at the bottom. I'm gonna keep it a saw. The second one, it's going to be a saw, and I'm gonna keep it around the same range. Later we can change it and see what happens. I'm gonna go up on the oscillator number 2. The sync is gonna be off. The ring is gonna be off. Now, if I play something, I'm gonna be changing the pitch of this one. I'm gonna leave it alone, but this, I'm gonna offset the pitch. And as soon as we do so, we get that unison type of vibe. So I'm gonna be doing around a little bit less, like 12 cents. A little bit more than usual. Now you can go more aggressive if you wanted to. So yeah, I'm gonna keep it around 15, 20, something like that. Not 20, 15 and 12. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at 11. 11 is gonna be my number. Now, this one, we can change the shape. So as soon as we do so, we're gonna start getting a different sound. Right, so I want a little bit of this. So I'm gonna stay around 10%. Maybe it's too much, a little bit less. There we go. So that's the sound that we are going to be getting out of these two oscillators. And now we need to take care of the VPM engine. Right, so I'm going to stand on the waveforms, and I'm going to go to the saw 2. And I'm going to go down on this so we can listen to the VPM engine. Going to go up. And it's going to sound like that. Just super dull. Now make sure that the cutoff is all the way up. That's going to be the saw number 2. Now remember, we can change the subtype. We can, modify all of this. And I'm going to adjust the shape at some point. And this sounds like that. So it's going to give us a little bit more bite. So now it sounds more like a saw. So I'm going to keep it around there. Now the thing is that we need to do a little bit of shift and hold it. And now we can change this control. Now remember, this one is about 50%. But as soon as we do this, we change the ratios. So I'm gonna be doing the first one, the second one, the third one, right? So I'm gonna be getting that sound. I'm gonna stay right there. And remember, this, without the shift, it's around the same place. So maybe it's a little bit too low in volume. I'm gonna go up. Maybe go up on this one. That's how it's gonna sound, and I'm gonna mix it with the other ones. This one is gonna be around 75, and I'm gonna do this 100. Just, like this, maybe 50, 60% on that one. And it's gonna sound like that. It's gonna sound super big. Because we want to do some pads, and if it's too aggressive, we can go down a little bit in the volume of each oscillator. And if you go down on this, you notice that something is missing. I'm gonna go down on this one. Maybe I'm gonna go there. There we go. Okay, so this is gonna be my oscillators. Later we can change them if we wanted to. And one more thing I forgot to tell you about the oscillator. that we can change, I'm going to go to the program edit. And remember, the last two are going to be about the multi-engine. So let's see how it sounds on a different octave. So I'm going to go right there. Lower. Higher. Much higher. I like the 4. So I'm going to stand on the 4 range for the VPM engine. Now, what else can we do? Okay, so I'm going to get out of this, and we need to take care, like that, and we need to take care of everything else. The cutoff, I'm going to go down around 55%, maybe 60, something around there, and the resonance around there, maybe. So let's see how it sounds. It's going to sound pretty dark and pretty loud. So I'm going to go down volume. That's fine. Now, the drive, I'm not going to turn it on because if not, it's going to really crush it and be loud. But I'm going to go on to the key track up to the 50%. Right, so it's starting to sound like something. Now, we still need to take care of everything else that it's going to make it sound like a pad. So I'm going to go to the attack, and the attack is going to be around, I'm going to make it very slow, 50, more than 50, 55, something like that. The decay around 60, and same for the sustain. I'm going to get it a little bit down, a little bit less than this. I want it to go down and then just, go up and then go down a little bit on the decay and stabilize right there on the sustain. And since this is a pad, I'm going to go up on the release. So it's going to sound really long, around 60. So if I play it, we get that, right? So it sounds like it should. Now, we're not doing a lot of cutoff, but still you're cutting a lot of frequencies. And I'm going to go to the EG int. We are not going to do a lot. It's going to be just a tiny little bit. And I'm going to bring the attack, the decay maybe up like this, around, 70. And I'm going to do the attack around 20. And let's see how it works. It goes. If I go really aggressive, it's fine. I like it. Maybe too much. And just too much. I'm going to go a little bit less until it feels right. I don't want something, super aggressive. I want something low in energy. Now I'm going to go to the pitch right here, and we are going to be doing a little bit of pitch modulation, just like we did. I'm going to stay on maybe normal, and the triangle, I'm going to make sure that we are standing right there. And if I play it, right, we are standing in pitch. I'm going to start going up. It's just too much. We are going to be doing just a little bit. Now, what we can do with this synthesizer is that we can choose what we want to do in terms of modulation, which oscillator we want to modulate. And for this, we need to go right here to the program edit. The first one is going to be the joystick, that we could do something on the joystick, but then at some point, you're going to find the LFO. Now, right here, it says LFO target oscillators, and it says all. So we can just start choosing, you can choose which one we want to modulate. And we can do the 1 and 2 and maybe leave the multi-engine untouched. So I'm gonna get out, and as soon as I play it, maybe I'm gonna go up in the intensity a little bit more. If we go up, it's just too much. It's like 10%, 15%, which is already a lot. Now it's fine. If it's too dark for you, remember you can do more intensity and it will be a little bit more, just a little bit brighter. I'll leave it right there. Now the voice mode, I didn't tell you, but it's going to be on poly. Right, so let's take care of the effects. So this is just going to bring everything into a conclusion because it doesn't sound that good, right? It sounds pretty thin and in the middle. And since this is a pad, we want to make it wide and open. So reverb, the mod is going to be off for now. Just going to make sure that everything is off. And we're going to start with the modulation. And if you want something big and nice and open, the chorus or maybe the ensemble is the best option. And if you hold shift, you can select different modes of ensemble. Now I'm going to be using this stereo because that's what I want. I don't want something open. As soon as we do so, there we go, you know? We are getting it. Right, so in terms of the time, I'm gonna leave it at 50, and the depth is gonna be at 50. It's gonna be pretty much the same. Now, the reverb is gonna be the second thing. I'm not gonna do a delay, but we need some reverb on this. We can use maybe the space, which is, you know, gives us a nice lush environment, and it gives us a little bit of detuning at the end. Yeah, so that's what it does. Now the time, I'm gonna go a little bit less, and the depth I'm gonna keep it around 50, and the dry and the wet again around 50. Let's see how it sounds. Right, so it just sounds like a pen. Now, this one by default it should be tied to the LFO. So as soon as I play it and I go up, it's gonna be do more of the rate and the modulation that we have right there. Now, since we are going really slow, maybe we can go up, and when we move the XY, I'm moving the XY up. Now we can do something like that. So if I play it, it's gonna be something about that. Let me just show you the XY controller. Let me just show you with the XY controller what I'm doing. I'm just playing a chord, and I'm always gonna be doing a minor or seventh or some variation of that, right? Something so really simple. So in this case, I'm just gonna do a minor. Let's do like that. And as soon as we do it, we just go up. And remember, we are just modulating the pitch of the 1 and the 2, but the multi-engine stays put. Now, if you want to control a little bit more what this is doing, you can. If you go right there to Program Edit, the first option is going to be the bend. So if you keep tapping at some point, you're going to find the X plus sign, and we are doing the LFO intensity. So if we go up, the intensity is going to go up, but you can't change this, and you have a lot of options, even the reverb time. Right, so that's it. So remember, if you liked all of this, to like and subscribe. And of course, you can download the patches. Just go to the description and you can download the patches. And also, if you want to buy me a coffee, you can. Right there, you will have some links for PayPal. You have a Patreon, so you can be a 1-month patron. And what else? You have your YouTube. Thanks. All right, so see you on the next one.